you're just saving and not actually investing, you are setting yourself up to lose money in the long run. That is just one of the lessons that Danielle Town learned from her dad, investor and author Phil Town. Danielle knew she wasn't the only one confused about money, so the father-daughter team started a podcast, and now they have put those lessons down in a book. It's called Invested. And Phil and Danielle, I want to thank you guys both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Your story is a great one. Danielle, I love the fact that you were a corporate attorney. Your dad's in the financial business, and yet you still were a little unsure about what to do with your money when it came to investing and saving for retirement.
And there's so many people who feel like me. I had no clue what to do, and I avoided listening to him about what to do.
We all avoid listening to our parents.
Right? Exactly. And so it wasn't until I had worked for a while, I had saved up a little bit of money, and I thought, okay, what on earth am I supposed to do? And I'm not the only one. They don't teach us this stuff in school. And yet we feel like we're supposed to know these things about financial markets, about investing.
Yeah, we hate to admit that we don't know it.
And we hate to admit it. So we don't ask questions. And so we started a podcast where I just asked him every question I wanted to know about. And I think that's why so many people have started relating to my story, because I'm asking the questions that they wish they could ask of somebody who honestly has to tell me the answers, or I will torture him for the rest of his life. And he does it for free, and has an actual interest in me coming out of this successful. So it's a special thing.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Well, if I'm somebody who really doesn't know anything about it, if I'm just trying to figure out the first step on this, what lesson would you give them? What advice would you tell them, at least to get them on that path?
Yeah, first step, I think, is to recognize you've got a big problem.
Yeah.
Typically, for the average person who's, say, 45 years old right now, they don't realize that in order to live just a modest lifestyle in retirement, they're going to need $2.5 million put away 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's out of reach for most people. And as a result, just saving won't work. As Danielle learned, there's this thing called inflation, and it chews you up.
Yeah, by the way, I didn't know about that affecting my savings. It blew my mind.
If money's sitting there, it's getting less valuable all the time.
Without you doing anything wrong.
Right.
It's crazy, and nobody teaches us that, or at least I missed that lesson.
Well, it's also compound interest. Compound interest, you have to start early.
It's compound interest, and it's working against you. Inflation is compounding against you. You start early, and you get the benefit of this big hockey stick curve of money increasing. But the thing that people don't realize is that investing is a process that you have to begin with your kids. You have to begin them early. You got to teach them to save a little bit of money. All the things everybody knows they should do, right? But you've got to do it yourself. And if you don't do it yourself, your kids aren't going to do it either. The weird thing is, I do that. I'm a professional, and she still didn't do it, right?
No, it's a scary thing as a parent. Are we preparing our kids? I wasn't prepared. It took me a long time to learn some of these.
Look, I couldn't get her to change a tire, so, you know.
What did you make her do first?
Oh, the first thing I made her do is try to figure out, well, the first thing that worked, right, that worked was to figure out what things she really liked that she was paying money for, things she was buying. What are those companies doing? And so she got hooked into it by looking at Whole Foods. So it's connecting her values, what she talks about in terms of what she likes and doesn't like in the world, to where she's spending her money. And what really connected was her recognition that putting her money into a company that's doing the good things that she appreciates in the world is a vote for that company to be successful down the road.
Sure.
And if you're giving your money to somebody else to make that vote, they may not have the values you have.
Right.
So that's the thing that connected.
Let me ask one question. Danielle, how old are you?
36.
How old were you when you started this?
I was
process?
33. It was about 3 years ago.
All right, Phil, is there a point where it's too late?
Oh, no, there's not a point where it's too late. But the rule of compounding works less and less when you have less and less time, right?
So it's easier the earlier.
It's easier earlier. In other words, if you start really early, you can probably invest in indexes and come out really well.
Phil, Danielle, I want to thank you both for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Becky.
The book again is called Invested. Up next on The Money, a look at the